Good morning, good morning, good morning. Who is up this great, beautiful morning? It is Saturday, July 15th. We are midway through the month already, quickly approaching the summer, of which I'm a little bit excited about simply because I have a lot of, um, just outdoor plans for the summer. But I also dread the summer because, being in this field is a little bit of a slow season. But that's beside the point. So, whoever is up with me this morning, I'm going to give you guys a couple of moments to check in. Good morning. I'm Jenny. A couple of moments to check in before I get started. And I'm just going to do a quick practice question as I always do. Very impromptu. So, for those of you who do not know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Bridget Montgomery, and I am a master's level social worker who also happens to hold a license in clinical social work. I am also a master in a master of science in nonprofit management, and I am a national certified sex offender treatment specialist. So people often ask me, what do all those initials stand for? So I like to kind of share that information and let you guys know. Apart from my credentials, I am a group private practice owner and I wear several hats as an executive director, as a psychotherapist, a supervisor, an educator, motivational speaker, and a tutor. So everything that I do is pretty much in line with my core values as a social worker and the things that I love. And that is just serving others, building better lives, and inspiring people to have a hopeful tomorrow, to always plunge forward and press toward their destiny or their goal in life. All right, looks like we got a good number of folks on this morning. So I am going to go ahead and get started. All right, let's move on and see what this question is here today. Okay, so let's just go ahead and just read this together and very slowly. So we have a 14-year-old boy. A 14-year-old boy was referred to the school social worker to address issues related to his poor grades and chronic truancy. He has been caught skipping school to hang out with his peers and smoke marijuana. He expressed being frustrated with going to school because he never gets help, even when he asks for it. He stated, "They're not teaching me anything anyway, and it's hard for me to understand what they want if I don't have any guidance or instruction. So why should I waste my time being there?" How should the social worker respond? Well, let's look at the four choices that they gave us. First, we have A, intervene by reporting this behavior to the school because it is unsafe and risky behavior. B, educate him on the dangers of smoking marijuana and let him know that it's illegal and he will get in trouble for that if he is caught. C, reflect back what he is stating, acknowledge and validate his feelings, and show empathy. Or D, confront him on skipping school as he is a minor and need to be held accountable. Well, that's very interesting. So, what I always try to encourage folks to do is first just read the vignette so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on and try to figure out what you need to do. And then I suggest going back over the vignette and really taking a look at it and kind of breaking it down. First you want to read and then you want to assess. Assess is where you try to gather the information, pull out the important details of what's being shared with you or what's being explained to you or what's being told to you, depending on your setting and what's going on. So let's go back so that we can assess. So we have a 14-year-old boy, right, who was referred to the school social worker to address issues related to poor grades and chronic truancy. So we have an idea of the type of social worker you are and the type of setting. And so that is important when you know your setting and the type of social work that you do, right? So we have a school social worker, and this 14-year-old is coming to him or her or to you to address issues related to his poor grades and chronic truancy. Okay, right? Now, he has been caught skipping school to hang out with his peers and smoke marijuana. So now we have some descriptors here. We know some of the things that he's been doing, and we can see here that the behavior is not cool, right? So he's skipping school and he's smoking marijuana. Here he expressed being frustrated. So let's not ignore the feeling or the emotion, which is also equally as important. We should always highlight that. When we have information where they're expressing or sharing or giving us some type of emotion, don't ignore that and don't skip past that. So he expressed being frustrated, right, with going to school because he never gets help even when he asks for it. So he's giving you some explanation of where his frustrations are coming from. So let's keep that in mind. Here's what he said to us. They're not teaching me anything, and it's hard for me to understand what they want if I don't have any guidance or instructions. So he's again further going into detail about why he's not. So, we're gathering this information. So he's frustrated. He feels like he's not getting what he needs while he's in school. And he feels like it's pretty, pointless for him to be there because he's not getting the help or the support that he needs, right? And he's frustrated about it, right? So he asks you, why should I be there anyway? Now, when we're looking at this situation or the issue or what we need to be addressing here, this is pretty much the hard part. This is where most people, I find, kind of get lost and get confused because they don't know how to identify within the vignette the issue or the problem that they are to address. Okay. And so before I take the next step, what I'm going to ask you guys to do, work with me here and talk back to me. What I'm going to ask you guys to do after reading through this vignette and highlighting all of this stuff, what one of those underlined highlighted situations should we be responding to? Okay, so let's read that vignette again really quickly and pay attention to the details and the information, and then identify the problem, the issue, the concern that you need to immediately respond back to. It's like a call and response. It's like a conversation. It's a dialogue. Something's being said to me. Something is being delivered to me. Something is being given to me. And I need to respond right back to that. So let's take a look at this. A 14-year-old boy was referred to the school social worker to address issues related to his poor grades and chronic truancy. He has been caught skipping school to hang out with his peers and smoke marijuana. He expressed being frustrated with going to school because he never gets help even when he asks for it. He stated, they're not teaching me anything. And it's hard for me to understand what they want if I don't have any guidance or instructions. So why should I waste my time being there? How should the social worker respond first? Now I'm gonna give you guys a couple of seconds to go ahead and put it in the comment section. I just want to see, what we come up with. I want to see how you're reading this and how you're understanding this. How should the social worker respond first? So before we can respond, we need to identify what we're responding to. So let's see what we got going on in here. What is it that we need to be responding to? If anybody is brave enough to go ahead and put in the comment section, I'm not looking for the answer. I'm actually looking for what is the identified problem. And so I'm gonna type this here. What is the identified problem? Here's what happens. We get in front of a practice question, we sit down, we read it, and we rush to answer the question, right? Without really first conceptualizing what we're reading. And I think what's really important is if we get into the habit of paying attention to what we're reading, understanding what we're reading, analyzing and assessing the data, and then moving to problem solving, regardless of what kind of question is in front of us, we'll still have that same technique, that same strategy, and that same skill, and it will carry with us. And we won't have to deal with the anxiety of trying to figure out what we're doing here. Also, keep in mind, this is bigger than just being able to answer a practice question. Think about your own practice setting when you are working with your clients. You do the same thing. You're not reading, but you're interviewing, you're assessing, you're talking with your clients, you're gathering information, you're collecting the data, you're building up your biopsychosocial. And then when you get all that information, you assess it. You look at the data that you have and you assess and you analyze. After analyzing what's been given to you, and you're thinking about theory and thinking about technique and thinking about intervention and thinking about diagnoses, you then identify a problem. And after you identify a problem, you begin to move forward to try to work on that problem and treat that problem. So what I'm attempting to do with you guys this morning is work with you in trying to identify the problem. Okay. So we got some people saying we're responding to his frustration, skipping school, smoking marijuana, the look at the issues. Okay. He never gets help. Okay. So we got a variety of different things going on. And I'm glad you guys did that, because what I need you to see here is that when we're looking at identifying the problem, we have to be able to understand what's actually going on, right? So we do know we have a kid that is frustrated with going to school because he never gets help. So we got that feeling in there, right? And he stated, they're not teaching me anything anyway. And it's hard for me to understand what they want if I'm not getting any guidance or instructions. So why should I waste my time being there? He asked you a very direct and a very specific question, right? Why should I waste my time being there? Well, we do want to respond to that, right? We want to respond to that. So the thing that we're actually responding to in the here and now is him asking us that question. Why should I waste my time being here? Now, I get it. Most of us want to think that the problem is him skipping school or him being frustrated. Yes, in a larger scheme, that is the identified issue. This is why he's coming into us. But for the purpose of taking the exam, we need to know what we're responding to, what we're answering, what we're dealing with in the here and now, here in the right now. And in the here and the right now, what we're responding to, what we're dealing with is him asking us, so why should I have to waste my time? Now, we want to respond to that, right? Now, thinking therapeutically, thinking clinically, in order to respond to that question, what is the first thing we need to do? You're a therapist, you're a clinician, you are a case manager, you're a counselor, you're a social worker. And this kid is sitting in front of you and he's asking you, all this stuff is going on. So why should I waste my time being here? Now, given the background information that we've collected, all the information that we know, see this right here in my highlighted space? That is the background information. We're analyzing that. We know that he's frustrated and we want to respond to that. We do. But first, before we do anything, what should we do? Should we talk to him about, or should we report this behavior to the school because it's unsafe and it's risky? Should we educate him on the dangers of smoking marijuana and let him know that it's illegal and he'll get in trouble for it if he's caught? Should we reflect back to him what he said to us, acknowledge and validate his feelings and show him some empathy? Or should we confront him on skipping school because he's a minor and he needs to be held accountable? Well, when we look at all of this, right, we're trying to, help this kid, and we want to help this kid. But before we can do that, we got to open the door, right? We have to earn his trust. We have to build some kind of a relationship with him so that we can really get in there and talk to him and to help him understand things from a different perspective. So A would not be a good choice if that is our attempt in what we're trying to do, because reporting him, he's coming in, he's talking to us, and letting him know that, we're going to report this behavior, he's going to become defensive. He'll shut down, he'll, become maybe angry or aggressive. There's a lot of different things that may happen as a result of this. So this is not a best first choice, right? And let's look at B. Educate him on the dangers of smoking marijuana and let him know that it is illegal and he will get in trouble for it. Well, I'm not going to say that's a bad answer altogether, but as the first response, I'm going to say no, because what we want him to be able to listen to us, right? We want him to be able to hear and to understand what it is that we're saying to him when it comes to us being able to provide him with the psycho ed. So B would not be the best choice in this situation simply because of that. So we want to give him some time to, be able to express his feelings. We want him to feel heard. We want him to be understood, and we want him to know that we are there with him. So with that being said, C is more or less the better choice and the better answer, right? Because here what we are doing, first, we want to reflect back to him what he said to us, let him know that we heard him. Then we want to acknowledge his feelings. Yes, I can see how frustrating that might be for you. Going to school every single day, asking for help. Nobody's there to help you. They're just giving you work and expecting you to get it done. I would be frustrated too. I get that, and I understand that. And I just want to see what else we can do here so that we can be able to be supportive to you and help you better, right? Something like that, something in that along that lines. But C seems like it's more of the best answer response. And D, when we're looking at D, that word confront, being that this is a kid that you're just coming in contact with for the first time, quite possibly, we can draw that inference because it doesn't suggest that we've had an ongoing working relationship with him or not. And it does state that he was referred to us. So given that he was just referred to us and he's new to us coming into the office, we don't want to confront him. We don't want to make him feel, make this situation contentious. And so we always want to smooth things over. We always want to get the clients to a position and a space where they feel comfortable and relieved enough to talk to us and feel like that, we understand them and we are actually here for their benefit and their well-being. So out of A, B, C, and D, the better of the four choices, the best of the four choices would be answer choice C, reflecting back what he stated, acknowledge and validate his feelings, and show empathy for him as he need to be understood and be heard first before we move into action and start trying to work on or resolve the problem. All right, guys, that's what I have. Any questions on that? Let me see what you guys got going on here. All right, good. Very good. Okay, so for the most part, I see everybody chose and was able to select answer choice C. However, I wonder that if I changed the language and I didn't use reflect back and acknowledge and validate feelings, would you all have still been able to get to that answer choice too? Because when I'm looking in the choice, in the comment section, and I see you guys are trying to identify what you're responding to, then, that it's kind of like scattered and it's kind of like all over the place. And so the other thing I want to caution you guys with is being careful of just getting stuck on those colloquial words such as reflect back, acknowledge, validate feelings, affirm, confront, those kinds of words, right, that we see so often. Learn how to be able to understand various contexts in which you can show emotion or show empathy or show understanding or acknowledge what another person is feeling without having to use those identifying words as far as reflect back and acknowledge and validate feelings. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I've seen multiple times people get confused on being able to show or being able to acknowledge or being able to support a person who's going through something and expressing feelings because they miss the fact that this is a situation that's dealing with relationship building first before moving into action, simply because they didn't have those descriptive words that will help them with understanding. You should be dealing with a relationship type of a relationship building type of situation. So this here particular vignette is pretty much assessing your understanding and your knowledge on how to establish first a working relationship before moving in and addressing any problems or issues. And so before moving in and addressing any problems or issue, you have to build trust. You have to help the client know that you are there with them, acknowledging their feelings or validating them or normalizing what's going on. And then from there, you can shift and go ahead and begin to work on and address the situation a little bit further. All right, that's all I have. I hope this little segment was helpful. If you guys have any other questions, or if you are looking for any further support, maybe some one-to-one support or anything like that, you can always find me at on my personal page, which is BridgetMontgomeryLLC.com. You can hit the menu and go to the tutoring section. There's a whole bunch of information there just for your own further reading and studying. Here is, the rationale behind why choice C is the best answer choice. And here are 2 links that you can go to read up a little bit more on what it means to use reflective listening and to be able to acknowledge feelings and establish working relationships. I will go ahead and copy this for you guys and put it in the comment section for you so you can use it at your own leisure and do your own personal study. All right. There you go. So it's in the comment section for you guys. Also, I will also place my web link in the comment section for you guys as well if you are interested in any private one-to-one support. Okay. I will be opening up and running another group session probably mid-July. So be on the lookout for that. And I will give you guys a heads up as to when I'm able to do that. All right. So I'm going to go get my morning cup of Joe. It is time for me to get up and get started with my day. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and be blessed.